This week's Mugs and Mercy episode deals with some mature themes. Parental guidance is suggested. Pour a cup and connect with us today as we talk about modern-day protective parenting. This is
Mugs and Mercy. Cheers!
All right, you guys. Today we are talking about modern-day protective parenting. But the reason I thought I should bring it up is because, guys, when I was about 10 years old, I was almost kidnapped.
I can't believe I haven't heard this story.
I have to tell you guys this story. It's crazy. It sounds fake. It's all real, and I will get into it very soon.
So we drop new episodes every Monday, and so be sure to subscribe so you never miss an upcoming episode.
And ring that bell.
Notifications. Or if you're listening, you can follow the podcast.
Yes.
Subscribe. But first, ladies, we have to talk about something else. What's in your mug? Katie, what's in your mug?
Okay, well, this is my marriage mug. It's a picture of my husband and me on our wedding day. And I, again, ran out of my caffeine allotment for the day. So it is decaf with Hershey chocolate caramel syrup.
Ooh.
As
fancy.
Ring-a-ding-ding. Yes. Emily, what's in your mug?
Thought you'd never ask. In my mug is, you guys, it's officially fall when this episode airs.
Ooh, it's little
and
owls.
it is little owls. And guess what's in my mug? Hot chocolate.
Ooh.
So
Might do that next episode.
It's some warm hot chocolate for the fall.
Warm hot
And-
chocolate, not hot chocolate.
Yeah, it's pretty warm. Yeah. Christine, what's in your mug?
Why? Thank you for asking. In this mug is, what did I have? Oh, this is my old coffee that I'm still working on from when I was at home. I brought it here. So just, I warmed it up once and now it's like iced coffee without the ice.
Oh, enticing.
Yeah, just coffee and cream and maple syrup. So. But my mug is Lighthouses of Georgia. And I thrifted it when I was thrifting this table for our
you did?
podcast. Yeah.
Nice.
And didn't you go there for your honeymoon?
Cents. Yo.
Love thrifting.
Yeah, we went to Savannah, Georgia for our honeymoon. It was very romantic in February, so it was
Oh,
not
chili
hot.
and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So, Emily, tell us more, because you had the idea for this particular topic.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this topic for a while and kind of some horror stories that have shaped the way I parent, and especially thinking about going to other kids' houses and sleepovers.
Yeah. I know
And-
sleepovers is this like super hot topic. on
yes.
social media.
And, yeah.
And just in general. I mean, it's something we
It's
kind
like,
of took
do
for
you
granted
send
as
your
a kid.
kids?
And then,
Do you not?
Yeah.
And then I think back and I know, at least you do, I don't know about you, like really crazy stories that happen, like really uncomfortable childhood events that happen at sleepovers and stuff. So we'll get to the sleepover aspect. Did you want to?
No, I was going to say, do tell about your crazy.
Okay, so I'm going to call my friend Mallory. Okay.
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 Why Mallory? Okay, so I had this friend Mallory, and I still keep in touch with her. So I had a great friend, like a best friend in, I think it was 5th grade that this happened. So I was like 9, 10. And I went to her house, and her family was always welcoming. My mom didn't know her family that well, but Mallory and I were such close friends that I was allowed to go to her house. She came to my house all the time, and I rarely went to her house. But when I did, it was always fun, but I always felt a little bit uncomfortable ever going to anyone else's houses besides family. And this specific situation just explains why I was always nervous to go to other people's houses, because you don't always know how other people are. So my friend Mallory and I wanted to be in a band. We wanted to be in a band because we were obsessed with like Britney Spears and stuff back in the day. Some of this is relevant. And her mom
This was the 90s.
This was the 90s, kids, like 99.
Late 90s? Yeah.
Late 90s. So her mom had a friend that she said would be our manager, our music
Band manager?
Yes, at 9 years years old.
This is already
We didn't
weird.
have-
This is already weird.
Yes, we didn't have any
Music?
music or anything. And I even thought as a 9-year-old, this is kind of weird. And so I'm at my friend Mallory's house with her siblings and her mom. I'm spending the night at Mallory's house, and Jean calls Mrs. Mallory, Mallory's mom, and says, "Can you send someone over to watch my 3 kids?" Mallory's mom said, "Yeah, I'll send Mallory and Emily over." And
You were 10.
I was like 9 or 10, and I
Which is-
immediately was like, I have no idea who these people are. I'm already uncomfortable being outside of my own house, and now we're going to this other people's house
Babysit?
to
At
babysit
10?
their 3 kids. Okay,
That were how old?
so I will get to that. We, without really asking if we're up for it, my friend Mallory was like, "Are you up for it?" And I'm like, "I don't know if I should." And Jean was like, "It'll only be like an hour. It'll only be like an hour." So Mallory's mom drops us off at this place without telling my mom about it. So her mom drives us over to this neighborhood of manufactured homes, and they have this house. It's a small house, but it was a nice house. And we go in, and I'm not knowing how to say no, or I don't want to do this. We go in, this mom and dad are there, and this is before cell phones also. That comes into play. So we go in, the mom, Jean, says, "Hi, these are my kids. I have this boy, this girl, who are like, I don't know, 7, 5, and this brand new baby who has a heart problem and that could stop breathing and that we might have to give medicine to."
Oh my gosh.
And it was crazy. And so there's like this baby who's like pale and like not very energetic. And they are like, "Okay, so we're going to be back in 1 hour. You can't make any calls on our phone because we only have 2 minutes left." It's like one of these old house phones that they had to prepay for. There's only 2 minutes left on it. So you can't call anybody if you need anything unless it's an absolute emergency, like if our little baby, stops breathing. But here's this medicine. This is another part though. The dad goes, "Before I leave though, I'm going to read your palms." Is this getting too crazy? Is this getting too weird? Is it too long?
No. I mean,
Okay.
it is too crazy. That's the
Yes,
problem.
okay.
Like, what is happening?
I know. So he goes, "I'm going to read your palms." And as Orthodox Christians, we've always been taught, especially we wouldn't even be able to watch like Sabrina the Teenage Witch,
Yeah.
let alone like
Yeah.
talk about this like mysticism. So he starts reading my friend Mallory's hand and saying all this stuff. And he goes, "And now you." And I just, in my mind, I kept saying, "Lord of mercy, Lord of mercy." And I kid you not, he looked at me and he goes, "We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it."
Whoa.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes, "We don't have to do it. We don't have to do it." And I was like, "Okay." I remember telling you this story, and you're like, "Do you remember a little bit of this?"
Yeah, but I think it was way after the fact.
And I've
Yeah.
never heard this story.
So the kids, they were just little kids, but I remember thinking like there's something off. Oh, this is the scariest part, and it's really sad, and I hope that they're okay. She said, "If our neighbors say anything or ask you anything about like abuse allegations, they're making it up." And then
Okay.
it was awful, and I'm
so
just
many
like,
red flags.
so many red flags. I can't believe like all this stuff happened in one night.
But you're too little to process it.
Yeah, you're this 10-year-old
We didn't
with
have
no
a
phone and no.
Like I didn't
Yeah.
have a chance to call my own mom and like say it or anything. So okay, so it was like, I don't know, maybe 8:00, and they said they'd be back by 9. They didn't come back till almost midnight. And we had just been watching movies and trying, like, I just remember having the most anxiety that something was going to happen to the baby. And it hasn't even gotten to the crazy part yet, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Well, like, where's Jean's mom or no Mallory's mom? I mean, and all of
Yes,
this, like, she's just
she-
like, oh,
She
go over it.
later
I'm like,
she
what?
even said that this was really weird that this happened, and she didn't like it. Like later, okay.
Still
so
was complicit.
so even
Yeah.
my friend Mallory, who's saying this lady's great and this couple's great, is starting to be like, this is weird. This is a lot. Like she was even starting to get freaked out, and so I'm like, full of anxiety. Anyways, okay, so they come home and she goes, and I just remember, I think now I know of it as like cigarettes and alcohol, but like I remember them having like this smell about them that was like off-putting. And I don't know if it was just that, it might have been like perfume too or something. But she said the mom comes home and they're like all happy and like lovey with each other. And they're like, and I'm like, can we go back to Mallory's house now? And the mom's like, hey, we really, really want to keep going out again. Can you guys spend the night? And I was like, I don't think my mom would like that because I'm supposed to be at Mallory's house. And she goes, no, it's fine. It's fine. And then she goes, okay, we don't have enough room on our phone to have you call your mom to ask her. I will drive you by yourself to our friend's house and leave
Not
Mallory,
Mallory's house,
Mallory with
but
the
someone
kids.
else.
And me and my husband are going to take you to some other house, a third house, to call and ask your mom if you can spend the night. So because I didn't know how to say no, and this is why it's important to teach your kids to say no, I got in the car with these complete strangers. I was sitting, it was like a little pickup truck, and I was sitting between them.
Ew.
I remember leaving and Mallory like looking at me like she didn't know what to do either. And I remember getting in the car and them like kind of like in my head it was like this is what I remember is they were kind of like looking at each other and laughing a little bit. And it was this is where I thought I'm going to die. Like, and I didn't know how to say no. And it's so bad. So we're sitting, they drive like a whole around their block and they park near their house again. And the house that they took me to was just like 2 doors down. So they didn't even need to go. We didn't even need to go in the pickup truck. It was the weirdest thing. So we go into this third person's house and there's this other mom and these kids that are like behind this gate. I just remember them screaming their heads off and like being all red and like having red cheeks and just like crying. And they're like, don't listen to these people, these kids. They're so annoying, blah, blah, blah.
At
Here's
midnight
the phone.
too, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's also
yes.
weird. But like,
that they're up that late. Yeah. And so I'm like with these complete strangers in this other stranger's house and they hand me the phone and I remember thinking, oh, I have the phone. Like this is my chance. So I call my mom. She's like, blah, blah, blah. And and I was like, and I explained the situation, but obviously in like really polite terms, not to offend them.
they're listening.
I was like, and they wanted to know if we could spend the night. And mom said, this is like one of the best things that mom's done that was protective. She said, say yes if you don't want to go. And I was like, yes. And she goes, okay, don't go. Or she goes, I'm going to talk to them and say that they needed to go back to Mallory's house. And then she talked to them and told them that. But she gave me that like tool to be able to, instead of going, no, like, cause I, like where they might pick up that I was like, I don't want to do this. And I would be too shy to do that. So, and then I think we walked back to the house and they were like upset too. That was the other thing is they're like, like we have to drive you back. Like this would have, we probably shouldn't even be driving. This is like, we have our things to be doing and now you're going to make us drive you back kind of thing. And it was the craziest night. So,
yeah.
So then we went back and I remember like going home the next day and just being like,
Wait, so you still spent the night at Mallory's house?
yes.
So after all that, you went back.
Well, my mom didn't really understand and understand like what a weird situation it was in. She was just like, no, you can't spend the night there. You have to go to Mallory's or whatever. And so I was too shy to even, I remember like not being able to sleep that night and just being like, I just want to go home and stuff. But it really brings up the importance of why this whole like sleepover thing is a debate and why people are like, you should only, personally, I think with my kids, either really close friends that you know the parents or like family that you trust 100%, that you would trust alone with your kids, Yeah. Anyways, any questions? I told you it's
processing all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's quite a story.
So,
What do you think? Like your internal prayers and stuff kept them from like just driving off with you? Like
I don't know. And I remember even Mallory was like, why did they do that? Like she was so confused, and the fact that she was slightly worried just made everything worse, And then like with the neighbors and just like the neighbors complaining about them, but not to listen to them. It was so weird.
So many
And-
red flags.
Yeah. And I'm like, now I'm like, I would encourage the kids to go home, tell your parents, and call the cops if something like that happens. But like, I didn't know that. I didn't have the tools. I just kind of moved on, and we never talked about it again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, the thing is, even if, because we should be teaching our children how to say no
Yes.
and all of those things, but even then, like a 10-year-old who's never been in that situation, even if you've been taught specifically to do that, it's like, I
hard.
think that's the sleepover debate, because you don't want to even put your kids in a situation
Yeah.
where,
Right.
I feel like I don't know if I would have done much better in your situation, except for the like, Lord of mercy. And like,
well, thank God that you were okay and nothing
Yeah.
worse happened.
And you'd think, even as a kid, I would think I would never get in a car with a stranger, but in these specific circumstances, some things just lead to the next, or you find yourself in this like compromising position, and you don't have the tools to get out of it. Like what? I
and
don't know.
obviously they're like manipulators, like
Yeah.
trying to make you feel guilty and pressure you. Like they're more practiced at that than little you at resisting that, you know?
There's obviously weird stuff going on there, and not healthy stuff,
Yes.
to say the least. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've thought about them off and on, the kids, and just like praying that they're okay.
Yeah. The little baby with the
Yeah.
heart condition.
Yeah,
and-
it was. I would have to talk to my friend Mallory and ask her, but like I would have to be like, I know there was more to it too, like something about medicine or what to do if they stop breathing or something. I don't know. Yeah,
So whatever happened to your band?
we broke up.
Just like tie-dyed broke up.
No, within the next couple of years we moved, and I keep in touch with her a little. Like we're friends on Facebook, but we don't like talk that much really. But we should have a reunion. And I'm surprised I'm not more traumatized by that, but it's always made me wary of strangers, and like I go into detail with my son. Like if someone said, "Hey, buddy, I know your mom, and she said it's okay if you come with me to get ice cream in my ice cream truck," or like, and I'll give him like all these specific like what if they say like, "I know your mom, Emily and Gary, and they said just come in here really quick and then you can go back." Like, what do you do? Because kids will go like, "Oh, you know my parents," and just whatever, or you have to be vigilant and really drill it into your kid's head, because on the off chance that something happens, it's really hard to get out of it.
Yeah, no, well, I've been seeing more and more videos of preschool teachers teaching basicing like consent songs, like about, areas
I think
to
I've
not
seen that,
touch.
yeah.
And giving kids the words to like say no. And I'm like, that's a good thing, and I've always been taught, because I have been a teacher for almost 10 years, and so I'm a mandated reporter, and I have training every year.
I was too.
Yes. And so, what the signs are if a child's being mistreated and all of these things, and also like prevention. And that's one of the things, is to teach children like the correct terms for things, so that they would be able to, share if
To use real terms,
Yeah,
not
to-
like nicknames.
yeah,
for
not
everything,
nicknames
like,
for,
say,
what the
"This
terms are we're talking about,
happened."
but
Well, to like say specifically this happened, not like
yeah.
generalize it.
And then of course, like prevention of those situations whenever we can. I mean, Lord have mercy, like we can't control everything, but we try to prepare our children as best we can, and also be vigilant, and whenever possible, like not allow them in that situation, because I don't think we knew in the 90s and before that how prevalent mistreatment and worse of children was happening, and it's unfortunately still prevalent.
Now we just see it more because of social media and news and stuff.
But there's more, and I think it's a good thing that it's
The awareness.
the awareness, just because we talked
More
about
tools.
Yeah. Yes, more tools. We talked in our anxiety episode about how social media can cause like a lot of nerve-wracking things and all of that. But I'm like,
Sorry if we stressed you out with that story.
Well, like I've been waiting to tell that story in some form, like either writing it down or doing like a YouTube story time on my own channel. But like halfway through, I looked at you guys and you're both like, I told you, I tried to warn, like it's a pretty intense story that sounds crazy, but it's like,
It is crazy.
it's one of those things that you live through and you're kind of like, I'm just like so thankful and proud that I got through that. Not proud because of me, but just like that God, but it's, it's a lot.
You think as a parent now, like, I don't even want to go there, but like envisioning your child in a tough situation and our kids are also little, but they're gonna get older. There's gonna stuff.
I think like
It's harder. Life gets more complicated as people get older, and
I think as parents, we're more discerning about who our kids become close with, like my kids' best friends are like other Orthodox kids, and I know the parents and we do things together, and I'll hold on to that for as long as I can.
Yes.
And their ballet place is Christian run, and as parents, we have to be discerning about like how we, because they're so impressionable too. Maybe they'll learn discernment so that when they're older, they'll be able to know the red flags, warnings, when they're making friends, or like, no, I don't really want to hang out with that person so much. But like right now, when they're younger, is like really important to just be like, okay, these are the kind of relationships I encourage you in,
I've seen people talk about this too, where it's like especially when they're younger, you kind of have to pick your kids' friends. You have to find people who are compatible with your way of life, because I'm not saying like stay away from the bad kids or something. And that's why play dates, I think, like the name play date is like a newer term. Back in the day, it'd be like, hey, you want to go to my friend's house? Or I want to go to my friend's house, and you'd go. But now it's like the parents are normally together with all the kids. It's more, which I think is important, because even if like you all go to the same church and you have the same morals, if you don't know them a lot, a kid will be less likely to be able to say no to things.
Well, it's nice to have the chance for the parents to connect too. Like when I've actually gone and done a play date and geared up for it as my introverted self gears up. But it's, I'm like, that's actually an opportunity for me to connect with the mom.
Connection.
And then our kids to connect too.
I think another thing is having super open conversation with your kids and making it where they don't feel nervous to tell you anything. And it's really hard because you have to like be stern with your kids, but you want them to be able to be truthful with you so that they know in any situation like you have their back. My mom wasn't much of like she wasn't a helicopter parent by any means, she kind of let us do our own thing. But the fact that having that like code word where she was like, say yes if you don't want to do it, if you don't want to stay. Even though, like, no matter what, it should have been like, no, you can't stay at the stranger's house, But she gave me that tool. And I think it's so important we really have good tools for our kids. You were saying,
Well, as we were, like, prepping for this episode, I hadn't heard the whole story, but I've heard of, especially as kids get older and are maybe going to more friends' houses and such, hopefully not overnight. I don't think I'll allow that in my case, but that if the parent sets up for the child like a code word that the friend wouldn't necessarily know, but like a code word for like pick me up and a code word for tell me no. So the example would be if a friend is inviting you to go do something that you don't feel comfortable with, like this party or whatever, but you don't want to be embarrassed. Like, you think of teenage kids, they're like, the peer pressure and
like
all
if
of
the
that.
kids with them while you're asking.
Yeah, if the kids with them while they're asking and like, oh, I have to ask my mom. But you text in such a way where there's that code word's in there, and that code word means say no, so that you can blame it on the parent instead of saying, like, I don't want to go when, as a teenager, it can be hard to do that,
Like, say Christine was my friend who's like, come over and you're my mom. and the code word was like apple. And I'd be like, Mom, can I go to her house? Oh, and did you bring an apple for me or something? But like
Very
literally,
smooth.
I know, but like literally, you got to teach your kids to practice role playing that.
Yeah.
Because they'll be like, if I was little, I think I'd be even too nervous to say the code word. Like they'll figure it out. But that's why, like, you have to even practice. Apple, apple. Yeah. Maybe you should pick a code word that fits in the conversation better.
Or just
Like,
I'm hungry. I don't know.
yeah.
Well,
Did you bring me a snack? Or something.
Something for younger kids, this is something my mom did do, but it was like if anyone's picking us up, like even if it's an aunt or uncle, like someone we know, but we weren't expecting that person to pick us up, we were supposed to ask them for a code word that we had decided on. I
that's
think the
good.
code word was orthodox.
Yeah.
We can't use it anymore. Oh no.
Yeah. No. I think even maybe changing it like every week or
Sure,
something,
or if
so
you
no one
use
could
it, you have
catch
to
on.
change it, or-
It's kind of
yeah.
like your pin or something. You don't,
Oh yeah,
But that
Yeah, me
idea.
too.
But that idea that you're teaching your kids that like the only way they would know the code word is if your mom or dad actually told them to pick you up,
Yeah.
and otherwise you just don't go. You just don't go with them.
Yeah. And that's why I think being able to be honest with your kids and them being honest, feeling comfortable being honest with you is so important. They have to have that communication where they feel free in that moment to do that.
Something that I remember our dad talking to me when we were young, like giving spiritual discernment too with your friends, because he, I mean, I went to sleepovers that were like pretty fine and we knew family and stuff like that, but he's like, kids like to do these weird things. He's like, if you ever go to a party and there's a Ouija board or what are those things, like light as a feather?
Yeah, or seances or any of those.
Anything.
weird-
Like
yeah.
he, gave a couple examples.
I don't even
but
like saying these words
I
out
know.
loud. It's like, ooh.
The bleep and the bleep.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit that out. All the words of that.
But anyways, he's like those, they might make it like a game. It is not okay. It is like spiritually bad for you. And I just remember him like teaching me that and kind of planting that seed for that awareness, like those red flags that you had when you had like the palm, like, let me read your palm. And you're like, Lord have mercy, like kids might think, oh, this is just a game.
So our father passed away when I was 8. So I don't think I really got that advice from him because when I was old enough to start doing slumber parties, I didn't know how to say no, and I didn't really know what was real or not, like what was a game versus what was like really spiritual. I have one more story, and then I want to hear your story about your sleepover. There was a story where I think my friend was turning either 10 or 11, so this is like the next year, and they're playing like at one sleepover they were doing like light as a feather, stiff as a board. And I was playing it and I felt so like gross after. And I'm like, Mom. And she's like, don't do that again. But this is another sleepover where in the basement they were all watching the movie Chucky. I think Chucky had just come out. And I was like, I'm not going to watch that. So I go upstairs in her room. And I remember their house was like so cold. And I was in her room alone while they were all watching Chucky. And I'm flipping through her TV.
Oh no.
And it gets stuck on this channel where it's like this guy casting out demons of people, and he's like hitting them, like, and like for me that's very foreign, but and it got stuck on this channel, you guys, and I'm just like, what the heck? So this is the thing is you look at kids and you're like, they're so young, they have no idea, but like kids, they experience spiritual warfare too, like you can't underestimate a kid, what they're going through if they're like crying about something or scared. Not that you should give it power, what they're scared of, but you have to listen to them and help them through it, because that happened, and I don't know how long. It was probably just like 10 seconds where I was like, but not a good thing to be, and then
Enough to leave an impression on you.
enough to leave an
Should have called
impression.
Mom and been like,
I think I did Orthodox, so I don't. Yeah, and I think I did leave that one and the light as a feather, stiff as a board one. I kind of went home a lot from. I had a number of sleepovers that are coming back that
oh my goodness,
that I left or just was like up all night, you know. So
Oh man,
And
I don't have any crazy stories.
so
like that.
I'm cool
I'm
like
glad.
that.
yeah,
But
because
tell us
then
your
after
story.
we moved, we hung out with you guys, and
Yes.
We were cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
you were-
It was the cleansing of the apple. The cleansing of like how to be friends and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
Christine, what was your story? I want to hear your story.
Well, they're not nearly as dramatic. Well, first of all, about the spiritual discernment thing, I just remember being at a party and like it wasn't bad enough that I wanted to leave. I was like my good friends, but they were dabbling in that, you know. And I just tried to sabotage it by like they're like, you have to be serious, guys, and I was like, ha ha ha, you know, like, and I just remember being like, phew, got out of that one.
Classic. That's like a classic Gilbert thing to use humor to like kind of get out.
Yeah,
of it.
like I
"Oh."
just yeah, but
They were doing one of those games.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But my more Apple story is for some reason I went to like my best friend's cousin's birthday party, and she was an older cousin, like not a ton older, but
Your best friend's cousin. Okay.
my best friend's cousin. So my best friend and I went to her party that was a sleepover, and it was like I think I remember going to Blockbuster, and they picked out like a PG-13 movie and an R-rated movie. And they're like, "Are you allowed to watch R-rated movies?" I'm like, "I don't think so." And they're like, "Oh, just tell your mom we're watching Disney movies." And I was like, and then I was
Red
like,
flag.
I was like, I remember, I think it was Mars Attacks. It's like really like PG-13 movie that was already weird. And I was like, just like praying, like, okay, like, well, I'll go to sleep or play a game or something, you know, instead of starting the next movie. And
Did you have any desire to see it, or did you feel
No.
like guilty seeing it, or were you scared to see it?
I was concerned. I did not want to see it, you know. And then they started playing it, and I like was like, whoa! And there was like things I did not want to see on the screen, and I went to the bathroom, and I was just like sweating and like praying, like, what do I do? What do I do? Like just like, you know, like it was like this huge deal.
We don't want to put our kids through that. That's just so
Yeah.
sad to hear when you know
So
someone.
then, so I like creeped out of the bathroom, and I'm like, think I should ask my mom, you know? So like, they're like, you know, Rickard screech, and they're like, really? And like, I called my mom, and I'm like, Mom, can I watch an R-rated movie? And she's like, do you need me to come get you? And I'm like, yeah. And then she came, but I went home feeling like sick, like I had seen an image I didn't want to see, like, just the whole experience.
Don't you wonder where their parents were during this? Like, I don't remember
I
the
think,
parents
yeah.
ever being
A lot of
around.
parents, I think, just like let
Yeah,
their
kids
like,
pick
they're
out.
just like, oh.
We were so unmonitored back then. It's so weird.
No.
But even parents now, though, and this is where we can't just trust other, you know, because you hear like kids talking about, like, to my son, you know, they'll talk about this or that movie or whatever that I know was not an appropriate movie for my 7-year-old son, but it's like the kids are talking about how they watch it or games they play or
Yeah.
things like that just they're not really monitored at all, or the parents even like encourage it for whatever reason. I don't really know why a parent would, but you know, it's something where we have to be like, we are making, especially while they're this little, like we make these choices on their behalf. And so we have to protect them physically and spiritually and emotionally and all the, you know, like that is our role, and to equip them as they get older and are making their own choices to have the tools to make the right choices and to be able to stick up for themselves if they don't want to be doing something, you know.
I just wanted to say that I think a really big factor in all of this is that we and our kids, we were baptized. We were living our life in the church. And I think that gave it, like, you know, I think the Holy Spirit working within us gives you that little discernment, you know, like.
Oh,
I
definitely,
think,
yeah.
And protection, because things could have, you know, there's a lot of times things could have gone different ways. And I think just that, like, since you're an infant
we were
planting the
protected.
seed, yeah. So you know.
I think I really feel like we've been protected in these things. And one thing that Gary and I talk about, and I've had students in the past that were really like cool students that seemed like in any situation they'd be the kids that would be like no to drugs, like that's not cool, like ooh, I don't want to see that, you know, like they were like they had no problem saying no to things. And in a way that's what I want to teach. We try to teach our kids, like it's cool to say no, you know, like that sounds so stupid, or sorry, it sounds so silly, but it's like, no, I really want to teach them to be like the ones that are those, I can handle any situation I'm in because I have that self-confidence and I am cool. You know, like it sounds silly, but you want that confidence to say no in any situation.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I was like that in some ways as a kid, and then in some ways I was like, I don't want to not be cool, and you don't, like what if those people did have ill intentions? I should have been able to say, I'm not going in that car with you. You know, I don't know you or something, but you know, so we got to really teach our kids, like in any situation, to be honest. And it's really hard
To trust their gut.
Yeah, to trust their gut.
That it's better to awkwardly say no than to go along with something that you are totally uncomfortable with.
Yeah, and if you're nervous to awkwardly say no, like loudly say no or do something, you know, like you don't, because it's easy to get behind this, like, I'm so anxious about it. And it's like, break through, like teach your kids to break through that and be like, I'm not risking my life for that. You know, I'm not risking my spiritual calm for that, you know. Easier said than done.
Yeah. No, I had just like one last thought kind of adjacent with protective parenting, but with like feeling judged for being protective, because there's some people who, you know, are like, oh, it's like helicopter parenting, da da da. And, you know, there's this negative connotation with that. And this is a totally different situation, but one of my sons is autistic, and he just like, he'd never run into the street before or run away from me before. And one day I was just bending down to grab a bag, and he was right by me, and he took off and ran into the street. And I was, you know, screaming after him, running. And so afterwards, like I had shared that story and as something to tell other parents, like, hey, even if you think you trust your kid, like, don't trust your kid. You know? And there are different people talking about suggestions of, you know, kind of, they have like the bracelets where you can do the Velcro bracelet and your kid has it. So those are protective measures that you can take to protect, like physically protect your child from harm, such as running into the street. But there's people who would look at that and be like, oh, it looks like a dog leash, and like how, you know, you should be able to just manage your kids like without that. And, you know, and like if you need something like that, or whatever it might be, whatever your protection piece is to keep your child safe, like those opinions of other people don't matter. They mean nothing. Like our job is to protect.
The alternative is way worse.
Right. Yeah. Like someone judging me, or, you know, yeah, I'm like, I have like a different method with him, and I just am very careful to hold his hand, and he's the first one who gets buckled in his car seat now as I'm getting all my children in the car, just to make sure there's no, like he's never freely roaming, you know, and that works for us. But whatever, you know, you have to do in your situation as a parent, like if you feel judged by others for protecting your children, like they're wrong. So
and on the spin, it's not that like I'm judging a parent who would let their kid watch something I wouldn't. It's just, you know your kid best, and you know your family best, and your own little, every family has their own little, you know, morals and everything, foundation. And I know my kids wouldn't do well with certain things, you know, or my one kid that is older and old enough to watch movies and stuff. My baby, we'll get there with her, but you know your kid best. So like your son, you know him best. You know if you need that. Like other people would think, you shouldn't do that. I would never do it to my kid, but it's different for every family.
Well, I'm like, God has put us in charge of these children. Like he's blessed us with these children.
Specific
individual children. And so we are the ones who have to make these decisions on behalf of them. And it's a huge task. and
It's not easy.
You know, we like, so to make the choice to worry about judgment and not do something that is for the benefit of your child because other people might be judging, like that's just never going to be the right decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the physical and the spiritual, you know, like, oh, my kids don't watch this or that.
And that's the beauty of having little kids is you do get to shape them how you want to, and that's why we live in a free country.
Not in a weird way.
No, not in a weird way. Yeah, no. And as long as you're really trying to do your best and your kids are not being harmed by it, like you just gotta do what's best for your family.
Live in the world, but we're not of the world. So if the world thinks you're weird, then who cares? I mean, I care sometimes.
I
too
was
much,
gonna say,
but like,
yeah.
but if the world thinks you're weird, then maybe you're just doing it right.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say it goes for like, not that we need to get into this, but even like health things, like you don't have to add this, but like being gluten free, like some people be like, oh brother, but you're like, no, my kid literally has like eczema from it, or my son, it's like food dyes. I see a difference if he has like food dyes, but I almost feel embarrassed telling people like he can't have M&Ms or Skittles because of that. I think they're thinking, oh, she's
Trader Joe's.
Yes, I know.
They're
Yes,
good
finding
alternatives.
alternatives. Joyride doesn't have
yeah.
dyes and stuff.
It's pretty good. I
I like it.
got the
I
watermelon
like
one.
it.
It's good.
It's
I don't know.
it's this guy Ryan Trahan who did the 50 States.
You gotta
50
watch
Days.
the 50
He has
States
his own
series.
candy brand, and it's all
Oh,
It's
fun.
good stuff.
it's like
reduced
all
sugar and-
all alternative candies. But anyways, so yeah, and so sometimes I feel silly being like, oh, he can't have that, because I don't want to be that parent that's like, oh, he's allergic, even though they're like, yeah, right.
But like allergies, like
I know,
are
but
legit.
no, I know, but like, I'm using that as an example because some people think like, oh, that's just silly, like that's not really what it is. But it's like, no, you know your kid best.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think you thought that. Until,
I don't think that, but I'm sure.
No,
if
yeah,
you
people
know.
do get like annoyed that you can't just be normal. You know, like
Yeah.
you can't just eat the bread and the candy and have be all.
And I'm sure there's a lot of parents watching this that are like, I
Frazzled
let
by
my
the
kid watch
ingredients.
this or do that, and and it's like, no, we're not judging. It's just. It's all this to say, in summary, I think, is that you have to do what's best for your children, your own children, and you have to teach your kids, or you have to give them the tools to make good decisions and stay out of trouble.
Yes.
You gotta,
I'm with you.
Yes.
Yes, you got to watch out for their physical well-being, their spiritual well-being, mental and social. We'll throw those in there too. Emotional, but like
All encompassing.
yeah.
Yes.
So we're learning as we grow, and I mean, we're still growing up too, and so we're learning more about the world and how to parent and the ever-changing world that is getting weirder and weirder. But yeah, again, just we gotta trust God to get us through it.
And trust your gut, like we said that to the kids, like trust your gut,
Teach them to say, "Lord have mercy."
I know,
That's a
Simple,
powerful
a big one.
tool.
prayer to remember it, but absolutely powerful. Okay.
Okay.
So let's share our appreciations for the week and then our goal updates, ladies.
Would you like to start, Katie?
I'm appreciative of the two grandmas of my children. So my mom and my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law just moved into town, so even more family here. And I started a text thread with them asking about like, oh, this thing came up, like, could someone, take my son to school? And like both of them were willing, and one of them, is the one who's going to actually do it. But I'm very grateful that they really want to be in the lives of my children.
Oh,
And,
wonderful.
Thank God for grandmas.
good.
Yes.
Yes. Parent hack: move near the grandparents.
Yes.
Emily?
I'm not going to say anything crazy, but there's been a lot of crazy things happening in our lifetime lately. And I am just so thankful for the people around that you can talk comfortably and that you understand each other, and especially my family and you too, because I've talked to you guys a lot. I'm thankful for my family and closest friends. I know it's kind of broad, but the people that like when chaos is happening in the world, you're like, at least I have these people, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm really thankful for you guys because without a community, I don't know how people don't go crazy, you know, to talk to about grief, sorrows, difficulties, anxiety, all these things. So I'm thankful for you guys and our family. Christine, what's your appreciation?
Oh, well, actually, I wanted to say it's you.
Oh,
Well,
That's so sweet.
last week our family was sick, and Emily brought us chicken noodle soup with gluten-free noodles, and the kids loved it so much they had thirds.
Oh, good.
Like both of the girls had thirds of it, and so did I actually. So it was just really sweet that we were
Aw.
sick and you came to give us
Well,
a little love.
Of course. And those girls, they love the chicken. They're like, not to toot my own horn, but they love the chicken noodle soup I made. And it's like pretty easy. And they've been having to isolate because they've been sick. And it was like something to give them to connect because I've missed them and they're so sweet. Connection. Also, though, I have to say, the week before we were really sick and Christine brought us like groceries and stuff. And it was very,
Nothing
very
homemade,
sweet.
though.
No, but I mean,
I
it
didn't
was
help
like,
either.
okay, just sitting there. No, but she and like her girls wrote notes, and I like cried because it was so sweet.
Yeah, they're cute.
Her daughter wrote like, "This isn't the best letter, but you have no idea how much I love you," or something like that. And I was like, "That's so cute." Okay,
Aw.
I love.
Johnny wrote us a note too.
Yeah.
Or the girls, so
Yeah.
Not quite as deep, but it was cute. Okay.
it had booger in it.
Yeah. The word booger, yes.
All right, let's update on our goals.
Yes.
So my goal was to eat more healthfully. I was not doing well for a while. I was just I was getting hungry and life was stressful and I was just eating whatever I wanted. But this past week, I've gotten back on the train and I'm feeling good.
Woo.
And it helps with energy and stuff. So.
Yay.
Emily?
My goal is also to eat healthier. I feel like I'm finally doing it, guys. Yay! I started going to the gym, which has really helped.
That's
And it's
awesome.
something
I know I need to sign up for that too.
I know. I'm trying to get them to sign up the gym that I go to. It's only been like a week that I've been really like cracking down on it and going like every other day, but it's made me want to eat healthier because I'm like, I want to have energy. And it's actually like I'm really enjoying it, which is it's something I never thought I would get back into and enjoy, but it's refreshing.
That's great. That's great.
Christine, what was your goal again?
Don't ask. Mine was to write down daily gratitudes.
Oh, yes.
And I have not been doing it. Okay,
Aw.
but
You all were
our
so
family
sick,
did
though.
get really sick and survival mode set in. So I'll get back on.
But you've been doing stuff online, just not writing your gratitude.
Yeah,
Because
so-
you've been writing.
Yeah, that was my last goal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and except yesterday I forgot it was Wednesday because we've been sick. The family's been sick. All the days blurred together, and I was like, I forgot about Wednesday. I thought it was Friday this morning, but it's Thursday. So, anyways, all that to say, I've been thinking about it all the time and feeling guilty that I'm not doing it. So if that counts for anything,
Well, you still have, 2 more weeks or something, or another week to
I'm
get
gonna.
on
Hey,
it.
next time
On
I'll
it.
be
You'll be on
back
it.
on the horse. Okay.
Like, subscribe, share.
Share. And
Share's
notice,
the big one,
Notice our, I was going to say, notice our new mics. We're
my
excited to
goodness.
each have our own mic
Yes,
now.
we did get
That's
new
what I
mics.
thought about earlier. I was gonna say that as our appreciation. Like, look at cheers.
Like, because we've been
Or if
having
you're
to share,
listening,
so we're excited.
hopefully it sounds better for you too.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. We're excited about that.
This is
we have a
a big
lot.
deal.
I also want to say we have a lot of really good subject matter coming up and discussions. And we would love to hear more from you, from what you guys would like to hear. But we're really
Yes.
excited about what we've been working on and everything. So stay tuned.
Yeah, find us on Instagram
Yes.
and say something to us because
We want to talk to
We-
you guys.
And tell us what you have in
Engage.
your mug.
Because we want to
connect.
connect.
That's right.
Thanks for connecting with us today, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.